Hi, I'm Sharon Knight, and I am pleased to welcome you to our Building Community Check-in today. I am the President and CEO of Hope Communities, which is a nonprofit that provides housing, educational programs, and support services to residents and to people in the community who need our help to reach their goals and dreams. We have really worked hard over the last 40 years to build a community to help bring neighborhoods together, individuals and neighborhoods together, to build a stronger network to help each other and to help lift everybody in the neighborhood up. Part of why we're doing these Facebook Live programs is to continue building that network and community while people are in quarantine and not able to get out as much as they can. And we think that the Facebook Live format is good because you can interact with us, you can write your name, you can ask questions using the chat feature on Facebook Live. And if we don't get a chance to respond to your questions during the show, we certainly will reach out to you later and help you out. We are also always open to emails about information, about need for assistance, any questions that you have through an email that's called info@hopecommunities.org. And then we also have our website that has lots of resources in case you just want to try to find them yourself before reaching out to staff. And that is at hopecommunities.org. You can find not only lots of information related to the virus, but about housing, about services. And there's a full contact list for all of our staff on the website with emails and phone numbers. So if you need to get a hold of someone, please feel free to check there and to reach out to us. So I like to provide a little bit of news each day. And I think certainly the biggest news right now is that Denver's stay-at-home order is ending at the end of this week. And so that is going to signal to people that they can start easing back into more work at their businesses. There'll be more leeway in terms of businesses being open for customers. We still, of course, will not have restaurants or businesses that, like movie theaters, that have a lot of people at one time. We're just not ready for that. We still need to be safe and to have social distancing. We also have heard from our mayor in Denver that when people are in public, they should be wearing face masks now. So hopefully everybody has at least one. So when you are in public or you're around people and you might be interacting with folks, please wear that mask. I know that when you are in your backyard or someplace, even on your front porch, you don't have to do that. But if you're going to be in a grocery store, if you're going to be in a busy path, that's the time to put that on. So I think it's good news for us. I just want to share how grateful that I am and that we are at Hope Communities for all the amazing people, the generous donations of time, effort, and money that people have given to us to help us through this COVID period. We had several people who have reached out to help me with my mask project so that we can provide cloth masks to our residents. And we have lots of volunteers right now helping us with our food distribution program. There were volunteers in here all morning helping me to prepare bags of food to be distributed this evening at our East Colfax site. So really, really am so thankful for the hours of time and the generosity that people have shown to us. Makes a huge difference. My quote for today is one by Henry David Thoreau. If one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live life in which he has imagined, he will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. So I'm going to say that one again. If one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined, he will meet with success unexpected in common hours. I repeated that today because we're talking about careers and trying to reach towards perhaps a dream job or a meaningful type of work that we haven't necessarily had before. So it's important to keep that dream in front of us and to walk confidently towards that. I was all set to interview one of our amazing staff members today who works with career programs. And unfortunately, she's unable to attend. As is the case with many people in our professions, things come up. And so she's not able to be with us live. But I was able to talk with her about the work that she does and to ask her several questions that I can share with you. So lots of good answers here. I think it's important to set the stage that we help people sometimes with their first job, trying to find a better job, trying to find a more meaningful job. So we work with people across the whole spectrum of their careers, and many of the people that we work with have numerous layers of challenge and obstacle to reaching their dreams. So the type of person that works with our clients is really important. And I say clients instead of residents because, as I've mentioned before, we at Hope Communities do provide programs, services, and resource navigation to anyone who comes in the door free of charge. It doesn't necessarily just have to be someone that lives on one of our properties. So the person that I will be discussing, the person that I picked her brain a little bit earlier today, was Amber Owens. She is our manager of career programs and resource navigation at our Northeast Park Hill site called The Gardens. And she just has a wealth of experience. She's such a tremendous resource to the whole community. And her experience is not only important because she has years of actual work in the field, but her life experience also accentuates her ability to guide people through the many challenges that I talked about. So I asked Amber to describe herself and why she was the perfect person to do this job. And this is her detailed answer in her own words. As an African-American woman, a person with a disability, a single parent, and having come from a low-income background, my life experiences have well prepared me for my work at Hope Communities. I have often shared with my clients that what makes me a good resource navigator is the fact that I have been in many of the same situations that they have been in. My experiences in finding my way through tough situations taught me how to navigate through those systems. And so she said, for instance, very recently she was working with a single mom who's in the process of trying to have her child identified with a learning disability. The mom needed a lot of guidance on the process. And if any of you have done this, it's not easy to go through those processes. So she needed a lot of guidance. And she really wasn't sure the steps that she needed to take. And of course, it takes a lot of perseverance. So finding the resources was easy for Amber, but also preparing her for the process was another step that she believes many people don't take. So Amber, is the mother of 2 children, both who happen to have learning disabilities. Her youngest child is autistic, and her oldest child has severe dyslexia and dysmorphic as well. She's dysmorphic. Both of her children were tested and diagnosed by the age of 3. And by being in that situation, Amber is then able to now work with her client and help her understand each step along the way, where you need to push, the different types of information that you need to bring. So everything to help her to actually get through and to persevere so that she could get her child diagnosed. So once her child was diagnosed, then they were able to get the resources they needed, like health insurance. And so her experience really helped her with that personal touch, to be empathetic and to understand what the mom might be going through as well as what the child might be going through. So an exceptional type of skill to bring to this program. So I asked Amber also, is this a good time to be looking for a job? I mean, during a pandemic? Was that a good job and good job market? And do we want to be out there right now? And what are the benefits of looking for a job right now? And she said, yes, it actually is a really good time because employers are starting to get ready for the reopening of the economy. And of course, we don't know what's going to happen exactly, but people are trying to make sure that they are set because we still do have a unemployment, very low unemployment rate. So typically without this quarantine thing. So it's really helpful to start the process. And so I also think that if you're applying for a job now, you will be noticed for your persistence, for your dedication, for your strong work ethic. And those are things that employers are always looking for. So it might be time that you could get your foot in the door with an organization that might have upward mobility. So just maybe a good time to get a feel for what's out there. Now, why would anybody want to look for a job now, I asked her, when so many people could get unemployment benefits? So yes, while unemployment is at an all-time high, there are still some, just because of the pandemic, not typically, there's still essential services that are really looking for employees. And some people are not eligible for unemployment anyway, and so that wouldn't be a possibility for them. And so also, because we have certain jobs that are really needing employees, and there's some people who are still reticent to get into the job market, there's also some extra benefits for people. So if you have children and you are working in an essential job, then there might be actually emergency childcare money for you that there wasn't before. So there's some upsides of looking now that you may not have necessarily thought about. It's also, there's some of the jobs that we've seen that have really been vibrant and really trying to find employees. Of course, like grocery stores, delivery groups, whether that be for grocery stores or Amazon or FedEx or one of those other organizations. Construction companies are still looking. Any of the essential manufacturing businesses or industries are still looking for people. We got a notice, for instance, a little while ago from Aramark, who was hiring custodians at $25 to $30 an hour. So it's a good wage for the position, and it's also a little bit more challenging right now because of the pandemic. And so there's a heightened sense of sanitation requirements and things like that. So there's some upsides, and then there's some things to be looking out for. So I asked her, what are some of the risks about a job right now, getting a job now during this pandemic? And one of the things she said was, while we're waiting and we're on the edge of reopening and rebuilding the economy, it's a risk because we don't know exactly how long things are going to go on like this. And we don't know if there'll be a disruption a little bit later on, if there'll be a resurgence of the virus. So you can sit back and not get a job at all and just wait till the whole thing is out. Or you can take that chance to jump into an industry and try potentially to get a new job, a different job, a better job right now that will hold you through, even if there is some fluctuation that's coming down the line. So, and of course, I think the most obvious risk is how do you go into a workplace that is set for you during a pandemic time. So, OSHA, which is the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, has a lot of restrictions and guidelines right now for employers. And so if you are looking for a job right now and you're stepping into an industry that you may not have been in before, you should be expecting that your employer will be providing personal equipment to help you, like masks and gloves, respirators if it's a certain type of a job. They should be expecting that everybody is washing their hands and using sanitizer. So following all the CDC guidelines. One of the things that is tough for some businesses, but it's absolutely essential now, and you should be looking for if you're looking for a job at this particular time, is that social distancing is being monitored. and that it's really being mandated. So even if there's a lunchroom or something like that, there has to be plenty of room for employees to spread out. Because while you want to jump on an opportunity to get a job, you don't want to put yourself at risk. So, and employers are also going to be expecting that you, as a new employee, are going to be following those rules around social distancing and sanitizing, and that if you are sick, you're not coming to work. So you need to demonstrate that you're being responsible, and the employer also needs to be demonstrating that they are holding these things true to their heart, and that if you're not feeling well, for instance, they're going to send you home because it's just too much jeopardy to have you in place. So very good things, and things to watch out for. I think we also talked, Amber and I did, about, how else could we use this time related to careers, particularly if we're not going to step into a new job right now. And certainly it's a great time to reflect on what you want to do with your life, what you want to do with your work life. What kind of career do you really want? If you could have your dream job, what would it be? And then to start thinking about, well, what would that take? What kind of skills would I need? What kind of training? Do I need to go back to college? What are the stepping stones that would get me to that goal? And so Amber says, after you get the career goal in your mind, and you kind of have an inkling about the best pathway to attaining that career, that is a great point to jump in to talk with someone at Hope Communities about the strategy around that and what are your next steps. So the navigators use a assessment, which is called the Perrin assessment. It's a strength-based test that identifies the skills that you have and the preferences that you have for work and for interactions with people, that can really help you to fine-tune your career path and to identify what are the jobs that your personality, your skills are most suited to. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to jump on whatever that assessment tells you might be the best fit for you, but it gives you an idea. And sometimes I've seen it open up horizons for people where they're like, I never thought about that career. So maybe it would be a really interesting time for you to take that assessment and start thinking about, are there really different types of jobs that might even be better for me? And if so, how do I get there? So it could be a little overwhelming when you start doing that, especially when you also have the stress of every change that's been prevalent during this pandemic period. But reach out to some of the staff at Hope and see if they can help you to sort through some of those feelings and thoughts and those concepts that you have about what you could do with your future. So my final question to Amber was, can anyone get help from you or from somebody at Hope Communities to help them find employment? And if so, how would they get in touch with you? Well, her response is that the wonderful thing about Hope Communities is that we work with all community members. So we work one-on-one with individuals to find employment and also to ensure that people keep their jobs. So that's an important thing. And the resource navigation that is embedded in this career program that we have really helps to set the scene so that the rest of your life doesn't get out of control just because you're going after a new job. And there's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of things you have to think about. If you, like Amber, are a single mom, what's the childcare situation? How are you going to have leeway to go to parent-teacher conferences, to get your kids to school, things like that? If you have a health condition, what are going to be the things that you're going to have to deal with first? Do you have appropriate transportation? So there's lots of resource navigation things, lots of details that, if solved, can help you not only to find a job, but to retain a job. And the staff will help you to work through that, but they also will help you to go through that strengths assessment, to identify the types of jobs that you want, and then the types of jobs that are out there for you. And you might be looking for a job with certain hours. You might be looking for a job that have really good benefits. They can help to point you in the right direction to the specific job needs that you have right now. They can also help you to guide you, really. They won't do this for you, but they can guide you to develop the strongest resume possible that you can distribute out to potential employers, and even go through the interview process for you. It's amazing how intimidating it can be to do a live interview, or it could even be worse for some people now to do a remote interview if they're not really comfortable with all of the technology. So, practicing that ahead of time can be so helpful. And not only do we practice one-on-one, but sometimes our staff use video taping or recording on the phone just to show you how you look and how you're responding to questions. It's a little scary to look at that, but it can be really impactful when you look at how you are actually talking with the interviewer. So there's lots of different things that the staff can do to help you to really be prepared to get a really great job. And then once you start the job, inevitably, it seems like there's always some issues that come up. And so just having somebody to talk with about those is really helpful. And just to figure out, maybe to strategize, how do I get around this issue at work? So staff can help you do that as well. So we are really interested in the stability of our residents and our other clients, as Amber tells us. So she really wants you to reach out to the staff anywhere along the career path that you're on in any of those searches. So let us know what you need. She recommends that you look on our website, hopecommunities.org, for any of the staff members, the program and resource navigation staff who might be able to help you. But if you want to reach out to her specifically, her email is amber@hopecommunities.org. And she also has provided her phone number, which is 720-471-3955. So she's more than happy to help you, as are many other of our staff. I'm focusing on her. She is superbly talented, but she's certainly not the only staff member who could help you through this process. We have some amazing staff on our employee roll, so they would all love to help you. So I wish that I could have seen her in person, but I really am so grateful that we had time to spend and that she could share her knowledge through me during this presentation. So hopefully it's been helpful for you in some way. So I'm going to give you a second quote for the day, which also I think relates to our conversation that we've had. This one is by Jim Rohn and is, "If you don't design your own life plan, chances are you will fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they planned for you? Not much." So I'm going to end with our book review today. We are going to be showing a video very soon on our Facebook page by Jolynn Snyder, who is the Director of Administration at Hope Communities. So Jolynn's video is about a book called A Precious Present, and it's by Spencer Johnson. So the book was written in a manner to help you as the reader to kind of understand what's most important to you. And she was given this book at a time in her life when she was contemplating career changes. And it was really helpful to her to be able to go through and put herself in different situations and identify her priorities a little bit more than she had before. So she really highly recommends that other people read it when they're trying to think through and sort through their life challenges including looking for a more meaningful job. So I hope that you will get a chance to listen to her review, which will be up in just a few minutes, I think. So it sounds like a really great book. So thank you for joining us today. Really appreciate your time. We will be back on Friday. And I just got notice also, I'm just going to give you a little tickler, that one of our colleagues in the professional community, Andrew Hudson, has said that he will do a future show for us around career as well, building your strongest self to move forward to get the job that you really want. So again, have a great day, good rest of the week. I will see you on Friday.